Thank you very much, Soren. What a surprise. Yeah, I didn't expect to be picked, but anyway. Jon, these have been wonderful weeks. I've been going through all these sea of feelings and experiences, sometimes like big waves. Uh, I don't know. I started as an engineer, and then I did a master's in international management. And I remember there that I studied some entrepreneurship, and the professor used to tell us that entrepreneurs were those people who would embrace uncertainty, ambiguity. And I don't know. I don't know if I have been able to embrace all this ambiguity because it's too much. It's really, sometimes I have felt a lot of fright, yeah, fear. I've been feeling frightened because I have well, my son will be born in maybe 6 weeks. So, as you well said, this is a whole new world, a whole new way of living. And I don't know, I find in mindfulness, in my practice, a way of being here and overcoming this fear that grows sometimes, but mostly living in this, I don't know, in this loving way, even if there's so much violence around. I live in Mexico. I'm from Mexico, in Puebla, Mexico, and here we are experiencing um, robberies, a lot of violence, and things that kind of set us apart. But in another way, it I see the chance of this filling up our bucket, and suddenly we'll be able to find a new way of seeing and really act with compassion and love and share our humanity, so we can grow further and deeper and really come back and create societies, even though it's fearful for me now because in a way we are distanced. So yeah. I cannot see clearly how we are going to get together. Here in Mexico, we are very much used to be hugging and loving. Some years ago, that stopped being part of our lives, mainly in schools for children, because of all the abuses that were, well, coming into place. And that was very sad. But now it's even, then, well, then the societies, the little communities started building fences around. Yeah. When I was a kid, there were no fences. Yeah. And now there's no place that has no fences. Yeah. So now we're coming to kind of a breaking point that we have the opportunity. I don't know if we are, I am hopeful that we, and I'm talking about all the people, all the participants in these conferences, on these calls, because I think we believe, and we are here to share and to embrace it. But I hope it's enough.
Me too. Me too, Antonio. And very, very touched that that you're saying this. And you know, I've been talking mostly about the pain and suffering endemic in the United States because that's my country. There's enormous amount of pain and suffering in Mexico. We share some of the same horrible history, and you know, we don't need to go into detail about the horrors that you know are part of the sort of various countries we find ourselves in, but the potential for transformation, it never looks like anything can happen because the power is so tightly held by the people in power. And you know what? That can change in a second. And we've seen million, examples throughout history of like, it seems like inassailable power in the hands of a very few, sort of tyrants. And then all of a sudden something else shifts. So there's a certain way in which we're basically attempting to plant the seeds that are possible to plant and water the seeds that are possible to water. And we are those seeds. Or the other metaphor that I'm using is we are the cells of the one body politic, whether it's Mexico, whether it's the United States, or whether it's the planet Earth. And we don't get to control the whole situation. But if we take responsibility for the degrees of freedom that we already have, I've been using this sort of pandemic metaphor that it too is infectious. It's like a meme that everybody wants to be happy, as the Dalai Lama, is very, well known for saying, everybody wants happiness. It's just that sometimes people grasp at happiness at the expense of other people's well-being altogether. And that's going to really have to come into a much more equitable balance. I don't know how that's going to happen in Mexico any more than I know how that's going to happen in the United States. But the fact that you're on the call and you care and you're about to become have a new baby in the family, that is in some sense the only motivator that we ever need to actually take care of the world that we're going to bequeath to our children and grandchildren. Excuse me. So the most important thing would be keep up your practice and keep asking yourself, what does that mean? Because it's not just sort of sitting or doing a body scan. Now it's going to be, is this your first child?
No, actually I'm training to become an MBSR, facilitator.
Yeah.
And I do teach mindfulness.
Oh, wonderful.
2 years ago, I was diagnosed with MS 10 years ago. So my whole life shifted from businesses and construction and things all over the world to knowing myself, because I couldn't walk and I couldn't see. So it came back again. So I found mindfulness. I found you. I've taken some of the courses that you have in Sounds True. And it has changed my life. But although it has changed my life, this is, it's a big challenge.
Yeah,
and
of course.
I believe this is the way. I mean, this is not the only way, but this is a very important way.
Yeah, you're right. It's not the only way, but also you'll find your way. And the question I asked you was, is this your first child that you're expecting that's going to be born?
Sorry.
No, I just want to know. It's not.
Yes, my first child.
Well, I want to just congratulate you on that, because you're going to actually be receiving a very powerful teacher into the family, mindfulness teacher.
Okay.
That, will, I think, really help not only motivate you, but demonstrate what it is that's most important on a moment by moment and day-to-day basis. In terms of MBSR and transforming the society in which you find yourself in, it's a long-term engagement. And the only necessary thing is to just start where you are and do what you can and not be attached to the outcome. Because when we really go crazy is when we reify a fixed outcome and then we force things to be the way we want them to be. That's not mindfulness. That's not wisdom. That's not compassionate either to ourselves or to other people that we may other into being an enemy. So it's a really profound challenge that the thinking mind is never going to be able to sort its way through. But the heart, you never know. And that's where the potential for true healing and transformation will come from. And I have every confidence in that, which is why I do what I do. And I'm so touched that we're in connection this way, you know, beyond time and space, so to speak, but very much in this time and very much in this space. Good luck with you. Good luck to you in all of this. And thank you so much for letting us know where you're at this particular moment.
Thank you very much, Jon. And thank everybody who's here with us. It's been wonderful. Thank you.